One.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, my name is Hanny Wijaya. I'm from BINUS University in Jakarta, Indonesia. Today, I'm very honored to join you in Design Day Marathon for the Lift Jam event. And I have a guest, Miss Hanny Wijaya from Vertic Design Copenhagen. And then actually, I also supposed to have another two guests that unfortunately, because of an unavoidable circumstances, they cannot join us today. But they sent me their regards, and also they sent me their presentations, their video. So we will still got informations about what they're doing in their agency, and they show us two of their projects. And yeah, I will introduce Miss Fanny. Maybe Miss Fanny, you can say hello to our audience.
Yes. Hello again. Thank you for having me, Miss Hanny, and nice to meet you all as well. So yeah, I'm also feel really honored to be able to join you guys here to share some of the stories and like the projects that I'm part of. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Fanny. You will have your turn after I'm sharing from the other guests' projects. They're from Half Note in Design. Their agency has run for quite a long time, actually. I think more than 20 years, yeah, because it's quite a famous agency in Indonesia, and they have many projects actually and that related. And we are quite lucky because they even they cannot make it, they still send us their presentations. So hopefully you can enjoy, and I will try to share their video right now. Let me see. Okay. I hope you can see it now. Is it not yet shared? Yeah. Is it shared? No. Can I share it? Wait a minute. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Please enjoy. Yeah. They send their regards because they cannot make it, but yeah, they will share about their story about the brand.
dans toute une existence. Ça n'a pas d'importance, semble-t-il, et pourtant la vie vous semble grise. 24 heures suffisent pour qu'on la trouve exquise. Que faut-il simplement? Il faut bien peu de choses, le parfum d'une rose, un sourire qui se pose sur vous bien doucement. J'en fais par vous l'expérience, et c'est pourquoi je pense que un jour de différence, c'est quelquefois beaucoup. Bien peu de choses, le parfum d'une rose, un sourire qui se pose sur vous bien doucement. J'en fais par vous l'expérience, et c'est pourquoi je pense que un jour de différence, c'est quelquefois beaucoup.
Okay, thank you very much for the sharing of the video from Half Not in Design. Actually, they have two projects that they have shared with us today. If you can see, the first project is actually about their branding for the cafe. Actually, it's a gelato cafe for the ice cream. And it's like using a very interesting concept, as we can see. And then the second one is the project for like a sugar academy. It's their clients for I think like doing the cake decorating courses, yeah, for the high-end projects or what. So they also design the website and then also the branding and everything. So it's really interesting. So unfortunate that they cannot join us in person today, but yeah, if you have any questions or anything, if I can help to answer, I will. But if don't, I will pass the questions to them later. And then now we will continue with Ms. Hanny Wijaya. She will share about her stories. Actually, I don't say a project; it's actually part of her whole stories. And so, please, Ms. Fanny, you can start sharing, and then I give it,
Yes.
and I'll let you to introduce yourself and then
Yes.
your story to the audience directly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Hanny. I will try to share my screen now. is this screen shared now?
Yes, full
Yes.
screen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I will start. Thank you, Miss Hani, for the introduction. I will start my introduction again with more bit of detail and short. Okay. Hello again. I'm Fanny, and currently I'm working as a digital art director in Vertic at Copenhagen, Denmark. And as I mentioned before, thank you for having me here, and it's really an honor to join you all at the Design Day Marathon 2022 live chat. So, a little bit of background on how I started in design. I actually graduated from BINUS University, that's my alma mater, in animation as a major. And then a few years after, I continued my study in international relations. But I start in the industry, the design industry, actually quite early from 2009 in as a 3D generalist, working in production house as a most in animation kind of project, a 3D animation, and then I continue doing that until 2015. But then since now the world is the digital design is keep developing and then improve like advancing, I also have more interest in that and then learning more. But I get into more digital design in moreover to 2016 or 2018. Then I becoming more focused on that digital design when I in Denmark, actually 2020. Like mostly the project I did is for the website and like also traffic driver uh, but in Denmark it's more like for healthcare pharmaceutical company. So that's more different style that I from animation. But yeah, I continue to do that starting 2020 from senior digital designer and then continuing to now digital art director in Vertic Copenhagen. So a little bit of intro before I like this quote from Dino. I hope I don't butcher the name. So yeah, your website is the center of your digital ecosystem, like a brick and mortar location. Like the experience matters once a customer enters, but just as much as the perception they have of you before they walk through the door. That is what I perceive. Like okay, you do a branding as well in website and digital design. That's what I'm interested with. So part of the today's story is I will tell moreover 2 or 3 stories about. First is the project about personal brand website and about more a company brand project that I did for a B2B kind of company, business to business. And a bit of whiteboard animation video, self-detailer that it's related to the company brand on the second story. The first one, the personal brand website. So I did a little bit of on how do you want to do it, because there's a lot of brand kind of website for portfolio and personal brand, but I choose this one more like a branding rather than only a portfolio. That's my preferences. And yeah, for the brand website, there's an above and below the fold, and then section, multiple subpage, and heavy content. This is just a background. I will not really deep down to this. Yeah, this is the overview on when I mentioned the multiple pages. This is how I use. We have a landing page and then also a gallery kind of portfolio, and then more detail of each project with the background, the overview, the challenges and the tools, and more of the story, how the project actually unfold. Like what I will share the story today, one of the example of the projects that is in this. Usually when I start doing the any kinds of design, actually, I always like to do from sketch and wireframe in with pencil and paper, because I feel like that's my best friend. Personally, I find it really easy to make the idea flows and without having to be limited or pay attention about like how it looks in when we did in digital production, because sometimes we get distracted, like, oh, maybe I should do this and then try this font and all the stuff. So it's easier to let my ideas flow when doing just a doodle and then a scrapping from like sketching. This is the example of before I go to the digital illustration, I make the idea from the sketches first. And this is the rough sketch of the wireframe and how it flows, and later doing it more in digital as well. For this personal brand concept, I use the visual for more like a imaginary and fantasy, like a scenery, like kind of playful in a mind. The style is more illustrative, and it's a full width and seamless background. So when you scroll, it seems like it's a whole one whole dimension, like one whole universe. So you just keep scrolling with through lots of universe, I would say. So different kind of like background and mood, and then also like the color as well. And for the font, yeah, I use the Roboto one. And also when you did website, obviously we still need to pay attention about how it looks in mobile, because nowadays people more access through website also mostly in mobile, not only desktop. So that's also what's important. And yeah, this is one of the, when I first arrived to the website, you will see the landing page. Then there's a multiple sections, as mentioned before. That this is the skill part, like what I do is. And then this is part of the experience. So it's like telling a story from the beginning when you arrive in the landing page, like introduction about who we are, and then like what we do, and then the experience, and then part of the project. So it's in a one flow, selected work. And in here, it's more other than the gallery portfolio. Also, there is, I've mentioned, there's more detailed project that people can easily find from here to view more like a little bit of introduction of what it is, and then what kind of project it is. So it's to showcase the portfolio. And then if they go here, view all project, then you will find that more a gallery kind of type. And then also, of course, after we introduce ourselves, and there's a contact where we can be contacted and connect with. And also the second part is the about pages. In here, try to make it more interactive. So it's more there, adding more motion and then telling more stories. So it's not a long scroll again. And how it looks in a mobile. Yeah, and also in here I include you access to the the resume, the CV, and also the PDF portfolio. And then this is what I previously mentioned, the work gallery. Other than the detailed project, it can be also accessed in here, and it has been categorized based on like a UI UX, and then branding, and then more graphic design and 3D illustrate 3D project, and also a video or motion graphic project. And the second story is one of them from here, the origin.com. It's more like a company branded website, the same structure as before, but since it's a company, of course, there's more heavy, like more contents, more text, and more videos. And yeah, this is what we use for the landing page. What is interesting about this project when I did it is actually because part of the building the design, digital design for the website and all the marketing tools and material, we also have to do the food photography, which I also like. And you can play around with how we do the photography with all the spices. A little bit of the background about this company is, yeah. So the project itself, the company is a spice company located headquartered in the Bali Island. They have this unique added value role in the traceable and wholesale and food services product worldwide. So it's not just their main concept is that they're not just an importer. They really get hands on, really personally forage all the spices and then connect it with the farmers, literally um, discussing and making a sustainable agricultural practice with the farmers. So it's not only just a company like importer or that kind of like really a business standpoint. That's what makes me really excited to work on this project because I love nature and lots of the drawing and the visual approach that we did also to make that kind of handcrafted approach. So that is why it's really excited. And part of this, they have this new brand, Origin per formerly Tripper. They changed their rebranding. I didn't personally do the rebranding because it's already provided. So, but they have the same kind of feeling with the previous one, the Tripper ink, but with the new set of branding, Origin Personally Forage. The company itself, so the project objective is actually to launch the Origin new website with a fresh design, and but still not really that different because they have a long-standing customer from their previous brand company. So it's still like as well as attracting a new potential one. That is the main objectives of the project. And of course, the handcrafted approach to show how that the companies actually connect and build and maintain long relationship with the farmers, family, and also the partners all over the world. And I really love this. Their kind of main like Origin is not just a business; it's an added value relationship of good sustainable agricultural practice. And yeah, this is the brand guideline that is used to create the website, the fonts and the logo and the color. And then yeah, as mentioned, main of the visual assets like in the website project, illustration was one of the important design elements. And it was like to create stories, telling more personal stories or how the company usually run their relationship with stakeholders. The owner itself is really hands-on with like connecting with the farmer. They often like go all around Indonesia, like to definitely go see the farmer and then how they work and build a plan together. That is what makes it interesting. And for this project, for the visual assets and illustration, there's three styles of how I made this project, especially for the website UI design, as the hand drawing in a black and white sketch style that you can see on the right. And then later you can see the icon design using the line one because it still wants to get the simplistic, clean, and neat design, and also using some factor illustration as a complementary. One of also most exciting part of the project is actually creating this storybook illustration because usually we go to a company page and then there's a history and then maybe long text and then it makes it usually most of the time people might scroll down to it, just ignore it. So for this, the concept is to make it more fun. So it's like a storybook, how the founder found the company and then how the process goes and then how to show their like showcase how they got the idea. And then so it's creating more personal value to their crafted works. One of them also this illustration for the spices because they have lots of main spices. I think there are 8 or 9 and keep growing because it's a sustainable agriculture culture. Indonesia is have really good quality of ingredients that is actually used a lot. And for example, for this one, due to its complexity, sometimes or for more detailed illustration, kind of like for spices, it's used more like as background or maybe a location scene. So the purpose was to add more texture to the web page, but not enough to really distract. We will see it like from the other pages later. And yeah, this is another visual asset line icon. And line illustration also used for the, for example, for other utility pages for career. So And this is a factor illustration, for example, with the colored one. We don't really use that a lot, but it's really important to use this for some section. For example, this to show the traceability map. So it's really contrast, like, okay, it really obvious, and okay, we can see it differently. This is the example how it would show the traceability of all the ingredients, where it comes. For example, for turmeric is from West Java and all. This is the combination of those two that's mentioned as a complementary and the background. So the idea for the website is when you scroll, then you can actually go to the page of the spices itself. So it's interactive, this one. Yeah. And before going to the final UI, as usual, I start with the rough idea sketches and then the planning, like a mapping on where it goes. This is some part of it. And then making it more presentable to present it to the team, and the wireframe sketch. So it's pretty clear, okay, what is the content here, what it should go, how the product page should be, the structure and all, and also this one. And after that's agreed and part of how it works, of course, creating the user journey mapping in a large scale. This is just some of the screenshot of it. I zoom in, so it's not, yeah. And this is an overview on how some of the pages looks. And then also one of the more interesting is the landing page for the concept of this website is using a video behind it, because they really show the traceability and transparency about how it's processed, and then actually put it in here, because most of people, also me included, before I go into the project, I don't really know where like how the actual ingredients looks like before I, for example, vanilla and then like cinnamon. It turns out it's really a nice experience and nice overview on how it looks before we going into the consumer. The objective is like, yeah, to show like the natural and tropical land as well as part of the attractive kind of aspects. And yeah, one of the final UI, you can see the main menu. This is the homepage. That's the landing page. This homepage, and then this is part of what I showed before. And then there's the about history. This is the storybook part, and then we also have a video, and then the timeline of the build. And then sustainable. This is the traceability map for, and then yeah, contact us. And yeah, this is also the product page. In here, we really did an experiment on the food photography with the spices. And it's really exciting because they have a really different and variant color, and also like shape, because it was there's a raw material, but there's also another shape after it's being processed, being extract, liquid extract, but also being like a ground and a different kind of shape. So it's really interesting for design perspective, that we can play around more on that, and also using all kinds of other additional tools, utensil. In here, I will only show one example. For example, yeah, this is the background of the story. The flow is the video, and then what it is and where it comes from, and then what kinds of product it is, because this is for a B2B company, wholesale. So it's not that like customer B2C commerce website that we usually see. There's a price here, because for the B2B, if they're interested, then there will be a link for inquire to contact the sales marketing. So that is a little bit different. And the packaging side, but all info are in here, including the traceability for a specific spices in there. And of course, on the bottom, you can go to another page as part of the user flow. And this is also another page of the part of the sustainability page. and certification. And then this is a closer look on how the product cards look when people click on this will appear. And yeah, as mentioned before, it's more like a send inquiry. So there's no prices here, but of course there's a showing of what kind of certification, organic and all, and subscribe form and career. Yes. And after done, this is the final prototype. Not all the pages. I'm showing maybe two. You can see the background of why, choosing origin, and then the product page. And then if people wants to kind of explore, not from the spices, but from the shape or the form, from liquid or brown or other in bulk. Yeah. Yeah. This slide is to show the main kind of tagline of what they believe, main value of it. Sorry, that is the founder. It's a two brother. They are two brothers. Okay. This is another example. Yeah, there's the part of the sketch that is in behind as an accent to add more texture to the pages. The information about the farmer. All the product page is having the same structure, so it's consistent between all the pages, so it's not confusing for the user. That's the final. And after that, related to the website, they also have another kind of video project that is really interesting. Is telling a story about vanilla with the style whiteboard animation, because the concept was there's always something special about vanilla, even though most people might think that is a plain ingredient. Like nowadays the name vanilla sometimes also being used, that word, it's being used to describe something boring or dull, like hearing someone called a person like a vanilla guy, like a dull person or something. But most of people including me as well before think that it is a white color ingredient, like due to our familiar vanilla ice cream. But turns out it's more than that, like from its history, how it's the process to cure it, and then it's the variant shape and color change from the raw material, another like liquid, until it goes to what we always know, like let's say part of the vanilla ice cream or something. So this video is mostly the purpose is to give kind of self detailer, self education in a fun way. So it's not to educate people, it's more like to give more informational interesting information about vanilla. This is one of the series, the first spices, the vanilla. So yeah, therefore this project is all about explaining those facts in a visually appealing and hand-drawn and whiteboard animation style as part of what the consistently related to the website style as well. So in here you can see the storyboard, how it built some of it. This is just an overview, and then yeah, a more detail of the storyboard sketches and checking of the dub as well, and then the story. This is after this, then go to this more digitally presentation. And after the story and everything is decided, everything is agreed, then we go to the actual create actual assets for the illustration. Start from the sketches. And then for this, because really is the sketch style, so it's not for a digital painting or the digital illustration after that. So after sketch, the inking also directly on the sketches, and after that it's scanned and later being animated in After Effects. And yeah, after all the explanation, now I will show you the final product of it.
Meet Jill. Vanilla is her favorite flavor, especially in ice cream. Like most people, Jill thought vanilla is a white or cream-colored ingredient. No, Jill. Vanilla are green beans that are cured into black beans and then made into extract. It is used to scent and flavor all kinds of products, yet is often associated with something plain or dull. But there's nothing dull behind the story of vanilla. Vanilla is native to Mexico and tropical Central America. The Aztecs were introduced to vanilla by their rivals the Totonacs, who are known as its first cultivators. Believing that it was a sacred gift from the gods, they used it for religious offerings and fragrance. It was unknown to the rest of the world until Spanish conquistador Hernando Cortés arrived in Mexico. Chief Montezuma of the Aztecs gifted Cortés a beverage made from cocoa beans, honey, and ground vanilla beans. Cortés was so captivated that he brought the beans back with him to Europe. It became so famous that many people attempted to grow vanilla in other tropical regions so they weren't dependent on supply from Mexico. However, the vanilla was unable to flourish outside of its native home. The vanilla flower would bloom and wilt in 24 hours, producing no fruit. Botanist Charles Morin discovered the pollinating relationship between vanilla and the melipona bee, an insect native to Central and South America. 323 years after Cortés, Edmond Albius, a 12-year-old French slave in Réunion, unlocked the mystery behind producing vanilla bean. He used a thin blade of grass or small stick to lift a protective covering in the orchid, allowing for easier pollination. His technique, which mimics the melipona bee, led to the spread of vanilla bean cultivation and is still used across the world today. Vanilla is a delicate orchid that takes 4 years to develop into a mature vanilla bean producing plant. It is the only orchid that produces edible fruit and flowers just 1 day of the year. If it's not pollinated, the flower will quickly wilt and die. Each flower produces a single vanilla bean. Vanilla orchids start as a vine that winds its way around a support tree. In Indonesia, gamal trees are commonly used as they are abundant and fast-growing. 9 months after hand pollination, a vanilla pod is formed. The beans are also harvested manually and cleaned before being dipped into 60 degrees Celsius water for 2 minutes. The scalding of the beans activates enzymes, beginning the curing process. The pods are then stored for 2 days in an insulated wooden box at constant temperature, resulting in the vanilla flavor and aroma we all know and love. The beans are removed from the box and placed in the sun for a few hours each day, and then go back into the box. This process lasts for 3 weeks. For another 3 weeks, they are kept in a well-ventilated, shady area until the moisture is stable. They go back into a wooden box for 2 months minimum to further develop aroma. During these 2 months, the beans are going back and forth between the wooden box and sorting to ensure quality. Considering the incredible amount of work that goes into the production of vanilla, it's amazing that the whole world has access to it. Unfortunately, the vanilla industry is suffering from some pretty significant challenges. As consumers search for more natural products, the demand for pure vanilla has grown. Surprisingly, almost 80% of the world's vanilla is grown in one place. Storm intensity is only worsening with climate change. The 2001 cyclone Huda was one of the most destructive cyclones seen in a prominent vanilla growing region, decimating the fragile ecosystem. A natural disaster can have devastating effects on crops, with long-term negative impact on the market. In just a few weeks, global prices can jump or plummet 20%, which could be devastating for the farmers. Only during shortages do buyers look to source from alternative growing regions. High prices incentivize farmers from alternate growing regions to heavily increase vanilla planting. 4 years later, when these large volumes reach maturity, prices decrease. When the price is low, farmers no longer see the vanilla crop as sustainable income. They replace their vines with more lucrative, quick-yielding plants, causing major shortages of vanilla. Then, prices increase and the unsustainable cycle begins again. Volatility causes a yo-yo effect on quality and pricing. When prices are high, the vanilla becomes more valuable than ever, which often triggers theft. Farmers are pressured to rush to harvest early and sell immature vanilla beans. This creates stressful growing conditions for farmers, leading to major quality reduction. 15 kilos of immature green vanilla only creates 1 kilo of low-quality black beans. So what can we do to face these challenges? We have a few ideas. The ideal solution is to support growing vanilla in multiple locations across the world to prevent climatic disasters from impacting the market. Long supply chains and too many middlemen can add to the risk of product contamination and leads to poor traceability of goods. Product is often stored for too long. There is a lack of reliable information and transparency on the sourcing and buying process. This can often result in stale product and adulteration of the goods that finally arrive in the hands of customers. Here at Tripper, we simplify using a direct and sustainable supply chain to offer fresh and traceable products. The third key to sustainable vanilla is to establish long-term contracts, including a floor price with your farmers, to ensure consistent quality and quantity. At Tripper, we tackle the issue of income sustainability by promoting mixed cropping. Farmers are given seedlings and encouraged to grow alternative plants to support their family income and community while waiting for vanilla to be ready for harvest. Mature vanilla takes 9 months to grow into good quality green vanilla beans. Only 6 kilos of mature green vanilla is needed to make 1 kilo of premium vanilla with plus 2% vanillin content. By committing to these key behavior changes in sourcing and cultivation, together we can keep vanilla sustainable and accessible. Tripper, we add value at origin.
Yes, that is the final product of the whiteboard animation. We did the coloring in digital as well.
Orchid that produces edible.
Oops. Yeah. Yeah. So in this, a little bit after that, for example, this video has 3 kind of objectives. The first one is an information about the vanilla, and then how it was produced, how it was cured, and then also the business standpoint on showing how the vanilla business is working, and then the solution from the company, from Tripper, on how to create a more sustainable practice of the vanilla.
The third key to sustainable
That is
vanilla
the
is to
story. Sorry for the technical issue, but yeah, that is the 3 stories. That's for today. Thank you again for having me. I will stop sharing my screen and give the forum back to Miss Hanny.
Thank you very much, Fanny, for the sharing. It's really insightful to know that actually there's a lot of process going on there, making that website and even going to the animations and the video. And now we are just have like less than 15 minutes. So I will just straight open to the Q&A session. If there's any, if you have any questions or anything, and please drop the questions either is in the YouTube comments or in the StreamYard. So yeah, we are waiting for your comments. And in the meantime, maybe we can discuss or something about what is your thinking while we're waiting for the questions from the audience. So I will just wondering with this, yeah, we cannot avoid that now is almost over, then which is like a graceful life, like the context of this design day marathon. But we just passed this hard time, right, in the COVID-19 pandemic. And then what is this? I mean, like in you are going to Denmark. I think it's 2020, right? It's the
Yeah.
time when there's this started all of this pandemic. But I kind of find it interesting that you actually going somewhere during this pandemic, because I know that in fact there's many people actually lost their job because of this condition. So I just wondering is how important it is. Maybe you can connect with your portfolio or something, and then how your journey to go there.
Yes, that's true. It's really challenging, obviously, but nevertheless, like lots of learning as well happens. Like lots of experience, new experience on how I got to the process as well. So for 2020, I start looking for from the job application from online, and then I applied it, and all of the communication is just online. And then even when I didn't go directly to Denmark. I actually did 3 months of remote working from
Mm.
Indonesia as well when I started with the company. And then after 3 months, then everything kind of start a little bit opening, so I can arrive in Denmark. But when I arrived there, obviously it's still like the different kind of situation. So most of the task and the project also, we were working from home. So we did it, everything is online. But surprisingly is everything is works well, I would say, because we have a thankfully we have a like a now digital like technology, like an advanced technology that is making it possible even for to communicate no matter where we are. And after 2 years, I would say it was a new normal in a sense. But I can see now, also my colleague during the time from 2020 to 2022, we have more hybrid kind of like a position and then remote position. So some of my colleague is from Singapore now, resided in Singapore, and then Ireland, and then also uh, Poland, and then lots of places like in South Africa. So it make it possible nowadays. We get to from that experience, we get to learn how this new way of working is actually works. So even now we already everything is already fine, and then we're already going back to the office. But the it's not only like 5 days of working anymore. It's more like it's a more flexible kind of timing. It's like you can go when you need to go to the office, and then let's say 2 days or 3 days. So it's more giving more freedom, I would say. And I can say, from what I observe, it's also a little bit the same from lots of company. They try to kind of have this system, because if the location is not really limited people anymore, then it means that they can reach lots of great talent and designers and all kinds of departments as well from all around the world, which is good for the company, I would say. So it was an exciting experience. Now it's more flexible.
Okay, so it's not really different with our education that we are now like doing hybrid and then between remote and then the place. Although we start to go back on site, but in industry it's also happening like that, right? Okay, thank you. Actually, there's a yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I saw there's a comment. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a comment. Yeah, I wanted to. There's a questions.
Yes.
Like, there's a comment from your art school for you. Really nice work.
Oh, thank you so much.
And then there's a question: what design advice do you have for students from your own integration experience?
Mm, okay, from my own experience, I would say that don't afraid to try, even though no matter where you are, even though especially now that is like more flexible and then more remote working and stuff. So if you just believe on yourself, I mean, like it sounds like a cliche quote, but it's not. It's really just just don't doubt yourself, because some especially from my experience, when I want to apply, I will see like lots of requirement, and then lots of job experience here, and then requirement from the skill and stuff. Of course, it will be great that we actually can do some of the design software, but it is rare as a student that we know all of the software there is. So it's good to not doubting yourself, because from my experience, when I start in the digital design, I don't know any kinds of software. But and what I learned, let's say I use from Adobe XD first, but then the company that I'm applying actually using Sketch. But then I just check, okay, learning from all, because nowadays there's lots of tutorials and there's lots of like kind people that sharing their secrets on how to do it, like in YouTube. So it's really really helpful, I would say. But yeah, don't afraid to apply. Don't doubt your skill. You just apply first, and then you can learn after. Because yeah, it's always I would pass. Yeah.
Insider tips, yeah. So never ending learning, yeah. In the
Yeah,
end,
never ending learning, and that's actually the nicest part of being in design industry, I would say, because every year you will see lots of like great young new talent like appearing, and then you can learn from that. Well, so,
okay. Yeah. Excellent advice. Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah. So what I probably got from you is that as a designer or as a student that you're going to graduate, just be versatile, right? Just yeah, keep going and don't doubt yourself, because Miss Fanny is from industry. I'm from educator, which is also good. Yeah, for me to also telling to my students, we just say like, okay, there's no give up something, but when you hear it from your professors, from your teacher, you just say, okay, because we are in class, so that's why you say that we don't give up. But yeah, now it just come from the industry people, that it's also you're still learning, actually, even you're already working, right?
yeah,
So it's true. So even for us, like from education as well, the same. If I stop learning, uh yeah, everyone now, I always say this sometimes, my students like, okay, you can learn from Google, you can learn from YouTube, so what you can learn from your professors, so we are professors also needs to learn more, right? So in a
yeah.
way that we keep develop, we keep going, we keep evolving. So it's a
Yeah,
really nice advice. Thank you very much.
that's true, because obviously there are some things in education that cannot be replaced from our own. So I would say that when we learn ourselves, is adding what value that we get from the education, and then it's kind of like, because adding that, because we already know how to learn it from education, then we know how to self manage ourselves. So I would say, yeah, I learned how to self manage myself in university, and then use that to how to like improve myself on my own accord, like without the assignment, because that's the important thing. If it's a personal portfolio or personal project, is the time management, self management. Because of course, as a designer, I would like honestly say like procrastination is my biggest because
Weakness.
I think I still do that, and I cannot, because yeah, the thing. But what I also learned from doing the personal kind of project and more is just uh keeping a target, but not make myself tired and stress about it as well. So it's always good to have like a time management kind of thing, so you really focus. Let's say for a week, when I did that personal brand, for a week, let's say 3 or 4 days, really focusing on that. But I also take some time to refresh my mind, and then go out of the nature, go out and then see, because sometimes you go out and then you will, yes, it's true, procrastination can be creative, because you take that time off, like it's like giving your mind a room to breathe and to rest, so that you can find more inspiration. Perhaps you have this kind of, because sometimes we're really focused on one project. Let's say, okay, I want to do this style, but then we stick to it, and then when we're stuck, we kind of like, oh, okay, I cannot do this anymore, I will do it later, and somehow it's next year. So it's always good to when we're stuck, just go out. Like just sometimes I like to do sketch in the cafe or like in nature and stuff. It gives you and see other people, not as a weird person, but see people because for animators we see like movement and all that stuff, so it gives an inspiration, and then you come back fresh and then can start on your project again. So it can be applied to any kinds of project, your assignment in college or anything. Yeah, but that's the important thing, have the time management, so you know where the actual deadline is, especially for assignment.
Self-management, yeah, and then arrangement is a really nice advice. Yeah, I hope it works for all my students as well, and all of the other students. That
It might not make sense now, but it will.
yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Fanny. We only have 3 minutes left, so maybe I don't see any more question. So if there's no more question, maybe I will just try to summarize everything that we are talking about today. And again, thank you very much for sharing. It's a really nice to see how it works actually. I mean, in industry, when you talk about the online design, like you say right now, that everything, like you need to be versatile, you need to be flexible, you still need to learning with the new software. You haven't learned about it, but when you work you have no choice but to adjust with it, right? So it's the same like me. I used to learn some more software, and then suddenly the software gone by another software, so you have no choice but to learn, right? And then also it happens when you're working. So to all the students, don't worry, we're still working and studying, even when you already graduate, but don't be stressful. Enjoy it. Well, I think like in a way that we can see that Miss Fanny have so many different projects, different direction actually. I think her master also in different, not in design, but she kind of like taking it in a way that it will improve herself to evolve, right? So it's a really useful sharing, and then it's really good for us, to hear about it. Thank you very much once again, and thank you for Half Not in Design as well for the video. Even you cannot be in person, maybe next year or another time we also can invite you in person and join us. And thank you everyone for listening. I'm Hanny Wijaya. Once again, good afternoon, and I hope you enjoy your time and after that the rest of the evening.
And thank you for all the comments as well.
It's a really nice comment from everyone.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.